Well, I'm back, guys. You know who that dude is from South Carolina. They call him Drummer 1980. If you don't know who he is, that's his moniker. I hope y'all having a good day out there. And if that's not the case, ask yourself why, because after all, this is one by the point. Happiness is an inside job. Did you hear me? I say happiness is an inside job. And it will always be an internal fact. Well, guys, I'm back. 10 days I've been gone, guys. I've been on vacation. Some of y'all know that and some of y'all don't. I've been to Disney World. That rat is very expensive. Him and his partner, a mate. I told him, I didn't know. Ooh, but it was for my daughter, for my seedling, for my underling. So everything is good. Everything is well within my soul, if you understand that type of lingo. But guys, I'm here with my man, TBA, with another rendition. He's talking about this suspected white supremacist in somebody's eyes. But in my eyes, he's a full-blown, yeah, you understand, right? All right, this dude is laughable. And Piers Morgan grilled him a little bit and he just fell apart. Oh, the sky's falling. But guys, get your popcorn ready because this might be a long one here. Let's get to it.
Along with everything else, there was Nick Fuentes. He went on Piers Morgan. As I said before, Piers Morgan was pretending like he was, really fretting over whether or not he should bring on Nick Fuentes. The fact that he even mentioned Nick Fuentes and talked about bringing him on, that I told you all weeks and weeks ago that he's gonna have Nick Fuentes on. And well, once again, did I call it? So he brought on Nick Fuentes, but I've got to say, in all candor, if I'm going to be totally honest, Piers Morgan really probably gave the most in-depth, devastating interview ever. He's not one of these YouTube ass kissers, not one of these white supremacists on YouTube. He's white supremacist somewhere else, not on YouTube. So he didn't bring Nick on for that reason. He actually really grilled him. He really broke it down, to be totally honest. You figured he would have been like Tucker Carlson light. Nope. He didn't do that. Now, he didn't do as well as I would have done, but certainly for what he was, it was a bad interview for Nick. It wasn't good. It was bad. It was awful. And it went off the rails at the very beginning. Nick Fuentes was on the run from the very start. Piers Morgan brings up a story that Nick Fuentes himself told about his own father, Bill Fuentes. This is a story that Nick Fuentes brought up, and take a look at how Nick Fuentes responded.
Before that, we get into it, guys, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Come on back to see me because you understand what we do on this side. This is for the people. This is for their edification, all right? Guys, do not be fooled or dismayed or in a delusional type atmosphere whenever that you see two white supremacists allegedly going at it, okay? They two sides of the same coin. I just wanted to make that abundantly clear. Remember what Dr. Nelly Fuller always say. They take both sides now, all right? So don't be fooled. Family, don't drink the Kool-Aid and don't be tricked by that. Just because somebody grilling them a little bit, don't, we got an ally. Stop that. Stop that foolishness, all right? Let's get to it.
From Ireland and Italy, one from Mexico. They came from Europe. They came from a society where we call that immigration. What this is coming from Europe. I have no problem with that. If we have 10% of them coming from Mexico or Latin America, maybe that's reasonable, but that's not what it is now. Now you've got 10 million illegals in 4 years under Joe Biden.
So this was basically Nick's response when Piers had told him, by the way, aren't you half Mexican? Aren't you part Mexican? So, and Piers said that was being biracial, and Nick said Hispanic's not a race. So Nick has been listening to us, all right, but that was the best he could do there. So I'm just letting you know that's what happened at that part of it. But then it goes on a little bit further here about his father.
Well, guys, yes, he is 100% correct. Mexican is not a race. That's not a race. That's an ethnicity, guys. See, people don't understand race, nationality, ethnicity. They get them confused. Oh, I'm Russian. What does that mean? Oh, I'm an Arab. What does that mean? Oh, I'm Spanish. What do that mean? That's not a race, guys. Okay? And two, where are all of our brown people speaking up against Nick Fuentes?
And I was reading some stuff about you in the last few days. There was an episode of your podcast where you talked about your father, Bill Fuentes, and how he wouldn't take the family, including you, to certain restaurants because he believed they were associated with African Americans. We would be deciding where to go to eat, he said. What are we going to do for dinner tonight? It was a running joke. Me and my sister would say Applebee's, and my dad would say we would never eat at Applebee's. Not in a million years should you be caught dead, Fuentes said about Applebee's. Go to a different restaurant, a local restaurant. No Applebee's, no Red Lobster. That is commonly known as black fare. And you also shared another story about your family and restaurants. It said, before me and my sister were born, my family had a saying about Olive Garden that contains the N-word that we're not allowed to say. So my question, based on that anecdote that you say on your own podcast, is do you think you grew up in a racist environment, that your father was inherently racist, and that thought process moved to you?
Well, I would say it's a new low. I've been attacked for being a racist many times, but to attack my father, to attack my parents based on anecdotes, I would say that's sort of a new low.
Hang on, it's your anecdote.
Yeah, but he's not here to defend himself.
You are.
And my parents are.
You told the story.
And I will. And I'll
I'm not trying to ambush you. As I said.
Well, now remember, I told you all to remember this. Ian Carroll told you before about how Nick Fuentes attacked Tucker Carlson's father. Remember, Nick Fuentes said Tucker Carlson's father was CIA and he had no problem attacking Tucker Carlson's father. And he went on for weeks doing that. Tucker Carlson's father is not here to defend himself. So Nick Fuentes had no problem attacking people's fathers. Well, that was, first of all, Pierce did not attack his father. He's asking a question about a story that Nick told about his father. So he's asking Nick about Nick's insights about how he was raised based on a story that Nick volunteered about himself. Tucker Carlson's father didn't volunteer any information, and Tucker Carlson did not volunteer any information about his father. So the only person who's ever attacked anybody's dad is Nick Fuentes. And yet when somebody brings up his father for scrutiny, all of a sudden he starts clutching his pearls and talking about that's a new low. So on first contact, he was sent reeling and sent running and squealing like a girl. First contact, he immediately wants to back down. And by the way, he never defends his father. One more thing. I'm going to let this keep playing here in a moment. But by the way, one more thing. He never defends his father. He never actually does that. He can't say it's a lie because they're saying your words. And one more thing. He never defends his father. The reason he's unhappy is because his father is still alive and still got a job while his son is out here telling everybody that he's a white supremacist. That's what Nick doesn't like about this. He never thought that he would end up on international television with international television saying, by the way, this is your father. You said your father's a white supremacist. Well, his father still has a job. And his son done snitched on him and said, by the way, my daddy taught me all this. So that's, if you want to know what Nick is really upset about, why he responded in such a weird, contradictory way, it's because his dad is still, he was worried about his father, talking about that he's got a job.
Well. That's a great point that Jason brought up. I never thought about it like that. His father is still employed, so he don't want to spoil that. But guys, if somebody repeats your words back to you and then you get all flustered and flabbergasted and you go on the defense and you start getting hostile, that should tell you all that you need to know, right? And this is something that you put out on your platform. It's public. This wasn't an ambush interview or nothing. He simply asked the question, repeating your words. You see how hypocritical these people are? He did attack Tucker Carlson's father. He did. I seen it as well. But this is not an attack whatsoever right here. This is merely a question. Something what he said. And that is a new low. He can't stand on anything. He's a one-legged stool, guys. Not a two-leg, not a three-leg, not a four-leg. Definitely not a four-leg. But he's tantamount to a one-leg stool. You can literally take your index finger or take your pinky finger and just nudge him a little bit. The house of cards crumble. Don't have no answer for nothing. Babbling.
My sister were born. My family had a saying about Olive Garden that contains the N-word that we're not allowed to say. So my question, based on that anecdote that you say on your own podcast, is do you think you grew up in a racist environment, that your father was inherently racist, and that thought process moved to you?
Well, I would say it's a new low. I've been attacked for being a racist many times, but to attack my father, to attack my parents based on anecdotes, I would say that's it's
your anecdote.
Yeah, but he's not here to defend himself.
You are.
And my parents are.
You told the story.
And I will. And I'll defend them.
I'm not trying to ambush you. As I said at the start, Nick, to be clear.
No, it's not an ambush.
Nick, to be clear,
I think
I'm
everybody
not
understands.
ambushing you. I'm literally reading an anecdote that you revealed on your podcast. It's you that's put it in the public domain.
I know.
I'm simply asking you whether my assessment of that, which is that your father didn't want to take you to certain restaurants because of what you refer to as, they were commonly known as black fare, whether that attitude to African Americans in that instance permeated to you. It's a reasonable question.
Yeah, no, like I said, I think everybody knows what that is, but I'll address it. I'll engage with it, and I'll defend my father from the charge of racism.
Sure.
No, my parents are not racist, and they've never been racist. I'll tell you about my parents. They used to have a school in Chicago in the South Loop.
Okay, y'all. Just like Governor George Wallace, he's going to give you the "we were real good to black folks" speech here, people. Here's Nick Fuentes trying to tell you all how good his family was to black folk.
Where they instructed people on how to shoot firearms. It was a security school, and most of the clients were black. And I believe actually one of their clients was Larry Hoover's son at one point, sort of a funny story. And so most of their clients would come in from the south side of Chicago. My grandmother, she grew up in the projects in the city. And so my family being in Chicago, being ethnics, being Italian, Irish, Mexican in the west side on Taylor Street, all over the city. My family for many generations have lived near and around black people. And look, my views about black people and their views about black people are shaped with experiences with black people. And what they will tell you, what my parents would say if they were here, is that for many, many years, the older generations of black people were very respectful, very humble, very decent.
And how did you treat them? See, this is the part right here that Piers Morgan can't address. By the way, little junior white supremacist, your father was saying those things. He wasn't saying that about young black people. He was saying that about the black folk of his generation. So yeah, you're saying all those accolades. Yeah, and your father still said those things. Your father didn't become a white supremacist because of a bunch of millennials. Your daddy didn't become a white supremacist after he met millennials. He was saying this your entire life. So the very black folk you talking about right now, allegedly, those are the ones that your daddy was referring to. How did your father treat those very nice, very decent, very polite black folk? How did he treat them, by the way? Take a look at his son. That's how he treated them. But of course, Piers Morgan couldn't do that. So as I say, you want to know where the interview was lacking? This is the part where it would have been lacking, because I would have smacked that down right then.
Great point. The people of the generations of old, the times of old, if they were so respectful, why did your father say that about Red Lobster and Applebee's then, if that's the case? See, they don't think before they speak. I think they think people listen at them or low IQ. Some people listen to understand and decipher every word that you say because words matter. But this here is just blatant, just lying, basically. But he expects everybody to not question anything that he's spewing out, what he's putting forth. He wants you to drink the Kool-Aid, as I alluded to earlier. And that's poisonous, right? Jim Jones. We all know that. This guy said, the south side of Chicago, because, we was Italian and Mexican. So in other words, they hung around the ghettos, right? Why is black people always associated with the ghettos all the time? It's always the ghettos or the people that's in poverty. They never talk to people that's doing well, or they never focus on those people. They always talk about the poverty level people, the hood, so to speak, if you will. They don't never want to deal with anything outside of that. That is the focal point of all conversations when you're dealing with these white supremacists. Why is that, guys? Because they have to have a target, guys. They have to have something to deal with, like Elon Musk. If you go on his Twitter space, this man sounds like Hitler. And people talking about he the richest man in the world. He was given everything. Jason have covered it. I seen other articles in the news. He was given hundreds of millions and billions of dollars to start a company. Guys, you could do that. I could do that. And then bring in experts from around the world and let them work. He didn't start from no ground up and build something to the ground. Mark Zuckerberg, the same thing. Steve Jobs, the same thing. They given everything. Grants and all of this stuff, guys.
In fact, my grandma used to have an anecdote. She grew up in a lot of dysfunction. Her mother was mentally ill, and they would be having dinner in the projects, and there'd be so much chaos and dysfunction and disagreement and fighting. And she would look across the way out the window at a black family in the other apartment, and they'd be holding hands around the table saying grace.
Oh, okay. So you come from a dysfunctional family is what you're saying there, Nick. So folks, the more he talks, the more you see where it really comes from, by the way. Yeah, projects. But in any case, the more he talks, the more you see what was really going on. You think you're going to make peace with somebody like him? Hey, Ian Carroll, if you feel ultra stupid right now, and you do, by the way, you thought you were going to make peace with somebody like that when he's telling you what's in the damn family psychology and psyche. Yeah, and yet you thought you were going to do that anyway.
And this is sort of the culture that used to prevail. But now what you have in the city is that there's no accountability for the black people. And now Chicago has become a complete dump because these teenagers go out and they take over the city. They call them teen takeovers.
Didn't I just do this program last week? You want to talk about lack of accountability? You want to discuss no accountability? Because I'll do that one with you, Jack. No accountability, not decent, street takeover. I'll take that. I'll take a piece of that action. Anytime you want to put this one up on the scoreboard, I'll be ready to do that. I got no problem coming up on that one. Anytime you want to do that. So Nick, white supremacists are liars. Pierce doesn't know any of this. So it's impossible for Pierce to fight back against this because he doesn't know. If he does know, he didn't say anything. But yeah, for those of us who do know, it's like, dude, if you don't quit lying. Now, the only way he would have been able to get away with this from a black person is if that was Myron Gaines. So if you have professional ass kissers there, but in the real world, this doesn't go anywhere.
Up there, and they mug people and attack people and they destroy cars and destroy shops. We had the Festival of Lights a couple of weeks ago. It's supposed to be a family event and they light up the trees and they, there's a big parade. I was in the parade one year and you had a bunch of black people.
We had white supremacists in the parade. All right.
They're shooting each other. 7 people shot, a 14-year-old killed in the Magnificent Mile. And I know there's a lot of black people that feel the same way about this. They say, we've lost control of the city. and we're looking for accountability. We have a lot of Black people that are always outraged about racism, outraged about attitudes from white people, but they're never ashamed of some of these behaviors. Never.
Well, that's interesting, Nick, because you always hear white people who say that they are unhappy about racism and ashamed about racism. And yet, what are they doing about it, Nick? Because if you're Black and you mistreat a white person, you're going to get dealt with. If you are Black and you mistreat a white person, you will get dealt with quickly. The media going to jump on you. The court's going to jump on you. The job's going to jump on you. You mistreat a white person and they will descend on you. So if you want to talk about folks getting privileged and out of control, once again, I'll be glad to go in on that one with you. It won't take very long to disprove you.
Family, understand this. See, this is a tactic right here. Do not let this be lost on you. What they do, they always project onto you. That way, you are constantly on the defense and never on the offense. In other words, they always talk about you, what you doing. Now, we had all these mass shootings, not only mass shootings. Now, guys, do not relegate the white violence to just mass shootings. Oh, no. These people do this daily. I can show you articles that are swept under the rug. These people kill their families. This is usual behavior for them. This is not some type of admiration or something out of the ordinary. This is common practice. You never hear about it. What you're going to hear about is Pookie shoot somebody in the hood. That's terrible. Yes, that's terrible. But if you say that we don't feel bad about what these Black people are doing, what you doing about these killings and these murders of these white males killing their children, white wives killing their children, drowning them and choking them and abusing them. And we won't even get into the topic of pedophilia. Come on, guys. Really? That's where you want to go? They have whole networks. Not only networks, but the household. Tim Tebow even made a comment what a lot of white supremacists was upset with. He said, these white fathers are abusive towards their children. I'm talking about sexually, the boys and the girls. So if we gonna take accountability, so will you. See, family, with the new Black media, we go on the defense and the offense. That's what makes us unique. Not only will we defend, but we also go on the offense. So instead of you just pointing at us all the time, we pointing at you too. And you know what they're saying? Well, y'all need to do something about these Black. Well, you need to do something about the white on white crime then too. Because if you go look at the numbers, they are basically tantamount. They are equal, identical. Black people kill, Black people probably 89, 90%. White people do the same thing, 80 and 90%. So where is this notion of Black on Black crime at now? And I can up you one. The higher you go in white society, you start committing crimes against humanity, start poisoning food, causing diseases, biological weapons, genocide. You want to have the conversation? You talking about per capita? Please. That's for the people that don't know no better. That's why you are always in a bubble. You don't deal with people like Jason Black. And when one dude happen to stumble across the channel and call in, he get dismantled instantly. They call into Tariq, get dismantled instantly. Call in the Black Alpha, or they trying to deal with, get dismantled quickly. And you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna start going live as well, guys. And I'm gonna start interacting with the people. Because I think that probably would be good for me and be good for my viewers as well. Okay? But they always in a bubble boys, bubble girls. Minute they step outside that bubble, reality descend on them like the hammer of Thor. Piers Morgan just asked a simple question, what he put out there in the public domain, and he crumbled right in the front of me. Start going on something about that Black people holding hands. That ain't got nothing to do with the prostitute in Kalamazoo. Yes, Kalamazoo is a real place. I think it's in Michigan, guys. But let's get back to the conversation.
ashamed of some of the things that go on. And that's why I think there's a lot of negative attitudes these days. And so, again, I think those attitudes, you say I'm a product of my environment. I am. And so are my parents and my grandparents. Unlike you, because you're not even American, in Chicago, we have to live in a big, diverse city where there's a lot of different kinds of people. And I think anybody in Chicago will tell you the same.
I live in London. It's one of the biggest and most diverse cities in the world.
But it's not the same.
Well, actually, it's a big, diverse city. The only difference is we don't have the gun violence because we don't have guns. That's a whole different story. I don't want to get into that with you. I have got into that before.
You got
in America.
A knife problem. You got sword problems.
We have problems with
Aladdin.
We have problems with violent crime. I make no pretense of it. So the idea that somehow I'm cosseted in London because I'm not in Chicago.
I didn't say that.
Well, you kind of implied it, but I guess my point about the environment, I'm not saying you are a product of your environment. Yes, most people are in some capacity. When I read that anecdote, which just to remind you, it's not something I have put out there. You told this story, right? And you said that
you said this. We're looping. You said this already.
But you haven't really directly, I think, responded to it, which is whether your father would not take you to certain restaurant chains because he associated them with Black Americans. Is that true?
No. Well, see here, if you're in America, you would say that Olive Garden is not real Italian food. Applebee's, TGI Fridays, this stuff is a load of crap. My dad was just a food snob, but no, it's got nothing to do with that. My best friend in first grade was a Black guy. We're not.
Yeah, folks. So much, every white supremacist trope from Archie Bunker. Yet Nick Fuentes, my best friend in first grade, as if you get credit for that. Folks, he really went there. My best friend in first grade. Okay. He really literally went there, people. This is pathetic.
Not a racist family. So,
okay. So when you told the story, I'm just curious. So when you told that anecdote, which clearly on the face of it is racist, right? You're basically saying your father made racist decisions about where you would go as a family to eat. Are you saying, well, I'm just going to ask you a question. Are you saying that when you told that story, you didn't mean to infer that he was racist? And do you understand why when somebody like me reads that anecdote for the first time, as I did this week, I reach a different conclusion?
Well, I understand what you're doing, which is a sort of making of a murderer. How did he become racist? Well, his father didn't eat an Olive Garden because he said that's not real Italian food. Hang on, can I? What's with the interruptions? Can I explain?
I'm literally reminding you of something you said on your show, which led me to conclude a certain thing. If I'm wrong, tell me.
Yeah, it was said in jest as a humorous anecdote, and now you're trying to spin it into a narrative, which is his parents.
Yeah, white supremacy is always a joke. Now, when Black people fight back against white supremacy, all of a sudden that's no laughing matter. But if you offend white folk in Nick Fuentes' white supremacist world, well, that's never funny. But everything they do, all their acts of white supremacy and violence, it's always a joke. It's a joke. Ha ha.
Parents are racist. He comes from a long line of racists. And I think everybody knows my parents are boomers. Mm-hmm. And these people you're a boomer, I guess, too. And in a way,
60.
right? You were born at 19. Yeah. So you're a boomer also. Or maybe you're a Gen Xer. I suppose it's sort of on the cusp. But it's a humorous anecdote. These are kind of the attitudes of baby boomers in society, but you're trying to spin it into a narrative, which is you're a product of your environment. Your dad's racist because of this joke. Now you're a racist. And I don't think that's a fair characterization.
Okay. People can make their own minds up. They can go back and listen to you say it. I mean, the beauty of what I'm going to talk to you about in this interview is that almost all of it is just going to be reminding you what you have said and asking you what you meant. Your position about that story is that it was a joke. Okay. I want to come to something else you said. This is
family. Just a mere fact. Piers Morgan platforming this guy speaks volume. Do not let that be lost on you. This guy is a hardcore white supremacist. Just go to his page and just listen to what he say about Black people. It's never nothing positive, never anything good. He always focuses on the bottom of us. And Kanye West have the nerve to be boot up and buddy up with this guy. That's why I look at Kanye West funny. Myron Gaines, he's Arab. He don't have no problem. These black people go on his platform. He go to their platform and they platform pearly things. She had him on his show and everything fell apart. And now you see how she's acting because she embraced the same thing he does. Do you see how that works? Birds of the same feathers flock together, right? And he keep talking about that his father is not racist, but the branches grow from the root now, don't they? The root start off first, and then the branches branch out. No pun intended. Extend out. What's in the root is in the tree. So you think his dad saying all those negative things about black people, that he didn't internalize that? You can see it in his rhetoric every day. Any issue pertaining to black people, he runs down on them heavily. Do you understand? Piers Morgan gave him a platform, but yet they won't give like Jason Black or Tariq Nasheed a platform. Even I seen what's his name? The Amazing Lucas. Now he have some things that he say that are good. Then I have seen him say some questionable things as well. But I remember the last time that he was on there, he did a pretty good job, to be honest. Mark Lamont here. Oh God. Oof, pray for me, guys. Mark Lamont here, he does okay at times, but he goes off the rails too much for me. He's too emotional for me. He do make some great points at times, and then other times it's like, man, oh man, they couldn't have got somebody else. Nick Fuentes, guys, if you are a fan or either a subscriber and you drink this goobly gop, you are no friends of black society as a whole, because he view you the same way. I remember seeing him on Fresh and Fit one time. I seen a clip where he was calling people niggas and all kind of stuff up on him, and they was like sitting there laughing about it. A bunch of clowns, a bunch of imbeciles. Don't have no self-respect. It's one thing to interview the guy, okay, but it's another thing to sit there and giggle and down in black people. I don't like that whatsoever. Nobody would never make me like it, okay? This guy is a hypocrite. He's a fork-tongued devil. That's what he is. The minute the Italians and the Mexicans got classified as white, this is the product. Because y'all remember what the Mexican councilmen and all of their LULAC said, right? The Negro problem is not our problem. This is the product. The Italians pumped drugs in. Remember that? Now, whenever they had to be amongst the black people, everything was fine. And you heard him say his people was amongst the black people in the hood, the ghettos, the projects, right? Everything was fine. Or it appeared to be fine, but they really didn't have a choice, so they just got along with them. But the minute they got a leg up, you seen their attitude, right? This is the product of it right here. It's no denying it. It's not my words. And if you go to his channel and just listen at some clips.
Where you talked about Jews, women, and blacks. Let's just take a listen.
They're always coming up with, no, it's not the Jews. No, it's not women. No, it's not blacks. It's actually really complicated. No, it fucking isn't at all. Jews are running society. Women need to shut the fuck up. Blacks need to be imprisoned for the most part. And we would live in paradise. It's that simple.
Okay. Would you like to clarify what you meant there?
That's all true. That's 100% true. Everything I said in that clip is true.
Including that blacks need to be imprisoned for the most part.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, all of them?
No, for the most part.
What does the most part mean? What percentage of American blacks would you like to see in prison?
Whatever the percentages of the murderers. I think it's 1 in 20 black men will commit a murder in their lifetime. So maybe.
People, white supremacists will never be accused of being intelligent unless you yourself are the dumbest person in the room. 1 in 20. people 1/20th. That's 5%. People 1/20th. Pierce is about to correct him here. And of course, white supremacists have these tropes. They're not based on any facts. They just have these tropes and these false statistics that they make up. And so that just becomes the slogans and the cliches that they keep recycling, but it's not actually based in any facts.
Let's say that 5%.
Oh, so you're talking about black people who murder people?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
But you didn't say that.
That's
you just said
problem.
blacks need to be imprisoned for the most part. You didn't clarify that you were talking about black murderers.
Right. No, you're right. That's a good addition to that. That's a great point.
You think it's funny, or?
I do. I think it's hilarious. I think it's totally true.
Do you think a black American would find it funny? You think that blacks should be imprisoned for the most part?
Blacks are my biggest fans. I get high fives all the time. They say, Nick Fuentes, I love your show.
He's referring to Myron Gaines and Kanye West. So once again, totally lying, but of course he has to. So yeah, to say they're pathetic is putting it very, very nicely, but no, he has no black support anywhere. He doesn't have that. So he just makes things up because he knows that Pierce isn't really going to challenge that. But yeah, all of us know, man, this is at this point, he's not just lying. It's science fiction now.
They agree with me. And you want to know why? Here's the difference. Black people are the most victimized by other black people. You think black people want to live in the hood and the ghetto and get shot all the time? That's what happens in the south side of Chicago. You should come here. I'll take you there. We could go to Garfield Park.
My son went to Chicago University for a year, actually, several years ago.
Yeah, that's a bubble. That's a bubble. You think you're in Chicago and Hyde Park? You don't know Chicago. Go a little bit west, see what it's like over there. And I'll tell you, black people agree with me because they're tired of it too. And maybe not most of them, but a lot of them agree with what I say about that because they know how it is. That's why the first thing they do when they make a little bit of money is they go and leave to another neighborhood.
Okay, so what was it?
Okay, well, he's talking about old Barrister from Northside Tether. So if he's talking about in Chicago, Barrister, the Northside Tether, he'll be sitting there. I agree with you, Nick. I really, really do. You show me right. But other than that, no. And everybody, we all know he's lying, but Pierce doesn't have the ability really to push back against that.
This is very deceptive, guys. This is very deceptive. This is the old Chicago argument right here in its purest form, where you have a large percentage of poverty, you're going to have crime. That's with any demographic. Now, and I'm going to beat this drum until the day I die, try to transition on. Black people crime is in the bottom of our society. Would you agree with that? Put it in the comment section. The higher you go up in income, black crime dissipates. Is that the truth or is it a lie? Make me out to be a liar. I'm willing to be course corrected if I'm wrong. I don't have no pride. What I'm trying to do is put out some correct information. Whenever you get to 6 figures and above, black people crimes are minuscule. It's about this big. Now juxtapose that to the white demographic and let's see what you have. And you will agree with me if you're honest. The higher white people go in money, they start committing crimes against humanity. But yet they want to hyper focus on you, the bottom of your society, and try to make a blanket statement like it's all black people just running rampant, just doing all this crime. That's a lie. Do black people commit crime? Yes. But white people commit the most crime on earth. Let's go ahead and up the ante. What percentage of white people are on earth? 8 to 9%? Who commit the genocides? Wiping out millions of people at a time. Dick Cheney just passed. Huh? You want to talk? Dick Cheney just passed. There was new articles talking about he was allowed to get away with unaliving and killing millions of people. And you talking about Chicago? Unscathed. in this lifetime. Well, I'm not going to even say that because you don't know what he was dealing with internally. See, we look for this big giant event that happened that's, karma done came back, or either you reap what you sow is what I say. Come back. See, you look for this giant event. It don't have to be like that, guys. People can be tormented internally. And that's worse than getting tormented physically. Diseases. People can get tormented in their minds. They don't have no peace. There's no peace for the wicked, guys. I'm telling you what I know. Dick Cheney didn't die happy. And in the place that he's currently at, he's getting tormented. Because the article said 600,000 up people. He is responsible for that. And your presidents, all of your presidents, your congressmen, and all these people walk around with suits and ties, and you never think about it. These people putting stuff and poison in your water, causing diseases, cancer, and AIDS being spread across the globe. Because you remember, if you go listen to the TED Talks, they always talk about cutting down the population. Who are they talking about? They're not talking about white people. They spreading biological diseases all the way around the planet. And you got this mush mouth, imbecile idiot that fell off the slow bus telling you something about Chicago. And I'm talking about currently, not something that happened in the past. These people wipe out whole ethnicities of people, kill animals, hang them up on the wall as a trophy. This is what you're dealing with. People get on the news and lie. No, they lying. The court system, kangaroo courts, yellow belly journalism, all this stuff taking place. Lying. You can see people on camera getting unalive, getting killed. They come up with an excuse. Oh, he moved. You have Elon Musk on Twitter just being a full-blown Afrikaner. If you understand what's going on, if you just sit back and you just analyze everything that I'm saying, you can go Google, you can fact check me on everything. And I'm willing to challenge anybody on anything that I say. Chicago have their problems, but I question that too, because how is all these 40, 50 people getting shot up in the weekend and don't nobody know anything? That's suspicious within itself. There's something else at play. And I have heard guys that live in Chicago. I know people from Chicago that say a van will pull up, a black SUV, and it'll let loose on a crowd. And nobody's never arrested. But the news report will come and tell you, 50 people got shot this weekend. And here come people like Nick Fuentes. See, they 50 people got shot. Okay, who got arrested? Oh, so there is no suspect. Oh, so the camera systems don't work, huh? Oh, but Jesse Smollett got caught rather swiftly, don't you think? See, you have to know how to deal with these people. Because if you don't know how to deal with them, they will have you feeling a way about yourself. They will literally have you with low self-esteem. But it's called self-esteem. Listen at me. It's called self-esteem. Not outside esteem. What you think about yourself. They're trying to shape your mind to feel a way about yourself. Oh, no. My walls are impenetrable. Do you hear me? Oh, I'm finna talk now. My walls, you can't do this to me because I know the truth, and the truth will set you free. The truth will set you free every time. See, once you have a Nick Fuentes coming telling you something about these black people, do black people commit crime? Yes. But so you gonna ignore all of your blood and guts over here, but you want to talk about our bloods and guts, huh? You want to talk about our blood? Oh, okay, all right. See, but I'm way too smart for that. The brothers and sisters on this side understand. They looking at the nuances. They looking at the hypocrisy. They looking at the fork-tongued devils. You have to always examine the people that's bringing you the information. What's their track record? And clearly, we don't believe nothing that he say. He could be telling the truth. He could say, it's a clear day. Let me look out the window. Nah, because I don't trust you. Let me go outside and look. Let me make sure. Because I don't believe nothing you saying. because I know you have a track record of being a fork-tongued devil, a liar. And that's where I stand about it. Don't be dismayed about what these people are saying, guys. These people will lie in suits and ties and put a knife in your back and say, well, it's not a knife. I'm just checking for something. Don't believe nothing these people say. You have to move a certain way. Don't try to align with their ideology because it's not going to work. You're going to find yourself on the bottom in every scenario. In every scenario, you're going to be on the bottom. On every scenario. That's my diatribe, guys.
Just remind me again, the percentage of black men who commit murder in America. What was the percentage you gave me?
It's 1 in 20. 1 in 20.
It's 1 in 100.
No, it's 1 in 20.
No. Less than 1 in 100 black US men commit murder. That's the most up-to-date crime statistics in America.
That's not true. I've seen other statistics. They say 1 in 20 will eventually commit a murder.
So your rate means that you're saying that 5 times as many black men commit murder as the official crime statistics say.
Yeah, there's a report, I believe, on X by Data Hazard. I'll have to go and double check that for you. But yes, there's some pretty shocking evidence that says that.
Yeah, white supremacists make things up. Okay, folks, let me go ahead and knock this down real quick for those of you who are on the slow bus or you don't do good with mathematics because it's very simple. Yeah, the renowned statistician Data Hazard, for Pierce to not laugh him out of the room for that is malfeasance on his part. People, there are roughly 25 million black males in America, total 25 million. From the black male population, if you have 25 million, well, at that point right there, you're talking 25 million, 2% of that, 2.5, half of that, 1.2. I mean, 1.2 million. 1.2 million. The total number of black inmates in state and federal prison is like 400,000. Total black inmates in federal prison is 400,000. That's not counting murders. That's all. ALL. Every single black inmate in America, you've got like 400 to 450,000, depending on what year we're looking at. That's the total black male prison population in America, not just the murderers. The murderers are far less. So I'm just letting you know, by the way, no, there's no way that can be 5%. That's it's mathematically impossible. White supremacists just make things up and they're so accustomed to I'm white and I say so. And no one's supposed to question that because I'm white and I say so. That's literally where we are, folks. We're literally there. And he just makes it up and tells you. There's a guy on Twitter who said it's 5% of the population, and he's not laughed off of Pierce's show. There's a guy on Twitter named Data Hazard. He says that, well, dude, let's do the math. All you have to do, Pierce could have done just what I just did right now. You can Google the total black prison population and then the black male population, period. It very easy, very simple. It doesn't make it anywhere down the road of credibility. It makes it nowhere. So if they had had a more aggressive host, he would have made a complete ass of him just on that one alone. This is absolute. The other thing is for Nick to sit up here and keep drilling on it. Look, this is what happens when your weird little disaffected incel kid is allowed white privilege to get on the internet. It's not about reality, folks. Remember, it's about dominance. Dr. John Henry Clark told us that they will promote something as long as it's useful, even if it's a lie. They all know it's a lie, but this is going to be the slogan that we use. Yeah, we know it's false, but that's not the point. The point is, this is another way of us saying that we're supposed to have dominance. So who cares if we're lying? Who cares if we're making it up? Just say it anyway. Just say it anyway. because he's gambling that Pierce wasn't going to do what I just did, which he didn't do, which they would not do. But by the way, you can very simply and very quickly through mathematics go ahead and find out what 5% of the black population actually is. That's a black male population. That's 1.5 million males. So it's like, dude, the total prison population for black folk is 450,000. How did you get there? How did you get to 1.5 million? How'd you get there? Tell us what white supremacist fairy tale lie myth you all have made up there that got you there, dude. So I want you all to know that if this was the guy you were so afraid of, this is the guy you were so worried about, this is the guy they were so scared of. You think that this clown is ever gonna run anything? There's a reason that he sticks to talking to white supremacist shills like Tucker Carlson and Steven Crowder and the usual internet suspects. He can't go onto a real program. He can't go on to CNN. He can't go on to ABC, CBS. He can't go there. They'll just bring up the statistics and that'll be it. He knows he can't go there. He doesn't want to end up there.
There you have it, guys. Boy, people, this guy will get laughed out of the room, but he don't care about being right. Like Jason said, he worry about dominance. And Richard Spencer said it on Race War. He said, I'm not worrying about equality or none of that. I'm worrying about like ruling dominance. I don't care about no fairness. See, some of y'all can't wrap y'all mind around that somebody would go to such great lengths to just lie. They don't care. Lie, deceive, cheat, manipulate, unalive, do whatever it takes just to remain in their seat. Whenever you say fairness, they feel put upon. Like you just the scum of the earth. If they have to compete fairly, that's a problem. They don't worry about fairness, guys. You do. And I'm one to be fair, but if somebody is doing something underhand, well, that's a different conversation. Black people are heavily policed, and they are falsely accused. They are set up, take the jobs out, put limited resources in the community, pump drugs in. And then they'll come and say, well, nobody didn't make them pick up a gun. But you set the environment. And then you put a heavy police presence. So anything you do, jaywalking, anything, lock them up. Now, show me the people that's doing your community like that. Just set you up for failure. And then criminalize drugs, the same drugs that you pumped in. Lock up millions. Hundreds of thousands of black people, broke up homes, and then go turn around and say, well, the black dads don't want to be. It's so much, guys. It's so gigantic. It is humongous. It's a big moving machine that evolves as it goes along. And it's through laws and legislation. What did Hoover say? The biggest threat to America was? Black unity. Now, who would say something like that? Black people that's trying to live. They say it's a threat for you to have your families intact. And you can see it throughout entertainment, from the tube and everything else. They'll platform these people to break up your homes. This God-forsaken, damnable music that they put out. And you can't see it. I remember that whenever black people used to see other black people plastered all across TV for many years, they knew, they'll sell out. But now, they call that success. All these black entertainers, you can tell they on a tight leash. Look at their eyes. It's empty. Nothing is there. That's why a lot of them be crying all the time and talking about their mama and their upbringing and all. Yeah, because they know what they did to get to where they at. And they're white celebrities that did the same thing. But since I'm talking to my audience, and probably 75% of them black, probably, yeah, I'm going to talk to their problems. We used to know, okay, these are sellouts. The music changed. We knew sellouts. Look at your entertainers, these actors. You can tell. Sellouts. They had to do something to get to where they are. You can tell. In family, it's always you the problem. You the one doing something. Black people got to do better. You don't never hear anything about anybody else. It's always the black and the blacks. Even all the way down to YouTube. Pay attention, guys. Jason said this a long time ago. Tariq said it. And other brothers and sisters have said it, and I noticed it. See, everything is going to online. If you look at a lot of YouTubers now, these people that just blow up, these people are plants. The Aiden Ross, the Jake Paul, and Logan Paul, all these people. These people are plants, guys. These people are platform. They are not some type of grassroots and they just came from no. Because they trying to steer traffic. But remember this, there will always be somebody crying out in the wilderness telling the truth. Okay? And guys, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Come on back to see me. Go ahead and subscribe to Jason Black channel. Go to his YouTube. He have a channel called The Black Channel. He also have another channel called The Business. Both of them are equally as important, I believe. You need to go patronize him, support the brother. And he also have a Patreon. Get a man a few dollars. See, I don't have no problem with contributing to something that I think is worth it. If you don't think it's worth it, well, go the other way. But I think it's worth it. And if you believe in me, just go ahead and just patronize the brother, all right? But guys, until next time, peace. And remember, there is more.